Hello everybody, Oliver G here from the Earful Tower. This is an episode featuring 2 or 3 parts. The main part is talking about my recent YouTube video with the US ambassador, the outgoing US ambassador, Denise Bauer, and how we filmed inside her amazing residence. But we're also going to be talking to the new columnist for the Earful Tower, who better be keeping her acid tongue on some kind of leash because those columns are tearing places apart. It's Lena Nordic. How you doing?
Hello, I like that.
Are you?
Also, I'm not sure I can stand behind that acid tongue. That is a bit rich.
I heard that 2 places in Paris have closed down since you tore them to shreds.
Stop it.
Are you co-hosting or producing this episode?
Well, let's just see.
If children wake up in the background?
That kind of thing.
Yes. Okay, that kind of thing. This show is brought to you by My Private Paris. You'll be hearing from Bertrand Dalmont at the very end, and he'll be adding an extra dimension to this episode when he talks about another incredibly beautiful building in central Paris this time, and he says it's one of the best churches in the city where there's never a queue to get in. Any guesses, Lena, which one?
No, it can't be Notre Dame.
Can't be Notre Dame.
Saint-Chapelle.
Nope. I'd never even heard of this church, and I'll go in there with Bertrand soon. But that's My Private Paris. They do tours of the city and beyond. Check them out. There's links in the show notes. Let's talk a little bit, or if you got questions, you're welcome to ask them as well. But I did this video that went out. It went out on Saturday night, and this podcast is coming out on Monday night. And since in the 24 hours since it's been out, I think I had 25,000 hits on YouTube, which for my YouTube channel is viral. Yeah. And just to paint the scene a little bit, I went in there, met with the outgoing ambassador, Denise Bauer, a.k.a. Denise Campbell Bauer. And
I like the AKA.
Some circles.
Sure.
And what we did is we filmed a very beautiful look around her incredible residence. Yeah. Now, I'd seen some of the downstairs and the garden at some of the events, but for this video, we got to go upstairs and we saw the presidential suite, we saw the Jefferson Library, and it was really jaw-droppingly beautiful.
It was. I watched it along the watch party.
The premiere.
Yeah, you did like a release premiere, and it was stunning.
I think I just want to talk. I've listed a few things that I specifically want to point out for people who. The idea is, if you're listening to this, I want you to go watch the episode. But I couldn't just copy the audio and make a podcast because it was a very visual episode. So I've pointed out some things that I'm going to try and tempt you to go watch it. And if you did already watch it, here are some little Easter eggs. Is the kind of idea.
I like it.
But so the idea, just to sort of set the scene for everybody, even if you watched it, is there were some guidelines in this interview.
Yeah, you had sort of a protocol.
Yeah, it wasn't a typical podcast episode.
Yeah,
and one of the main things, when you're dealing with politics, I don't typically like talking politics on this travel show. No. But it turned out that they didn't want to talk about it either. So it was a conversation sort of about Denise's time in Paris.
Yeah, more neutral kind of
very
ground,
neutral, but also showing. I want it to be very visual, and it's hard to interview someone where the whole point of the interview is also, isn't this room nice? Isn't this room nice? You know, I want it to be sort of, my addition was to be the pleasant.
Well, also you want to be lighthearted, just nice and light, and but still got some depth to it.
Yeah, and reading through the comments live, and in the first sort of 12 hours, people have really been into it. Now that it's kind of gone viral, you got to stop reading the comments.
It's amazing. Some of them are so bad.
Well, I think
people are crazy.
When a video gets popular, and this is kind of one of the beauties of podcasts, is there's nowhere to put a comment. But when a YouTube video goes popular, all the people come out of the shadows.
All sorts of holes.
I thought I was also quite well dressed. You work in fashion. What do you think?
I mean, I liked it. I think we felt inspired going with the theme.
Why did someone say I look like a 1920s mountaineer?
Oh my God, I love that so much. It's so good, but also I'm here for it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I like it.
Anyway, the comments are lovely, mostly, and the video was cool. And I just want to point out a few things that maybe you missed. I even missed one of them. So the idea, we walked around the upstairs, then around the downstairs, had a look in the garden. 30-minute video, totally worth watching. Just pure lovely. And
was it improvised?
Yes and no. They have a whole... They have
improvised, but like on a...
They have talking points.
I see.
And the idea of talking points is very boring for an interviewer.
Yeah,
and
right.
So I tried to stray from that while keeping it really light. That's kind of it. Because, otherwise you can just read the Wikipedia page about the place.
Yeah.
Shout out as well to Harry, who, our fearless cameraman who can walk backwards, and I learned can play the piano. Did I tell you that?
Than you?
Oh, easily. Oh my gosh, are you kidding? Like he actually played.
I guess we have to sample that at some point.
Oh, good idea. Good idea. So here are 5 points. One, my favorite point is Denise made a comment about the presidential suite, and she said something along the lines of...
Is that the bed you sat on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gently bounced on it. Also, there's so many things, actually. There's a great view from that presidential suite and the ambassadorial... over the Grand Palais with the Earful Tower in the background.
Oh my gosh.
You did say you watched it.
Yeah, but I looked away at that crucial moment.
But when she was... Well, you don't usually see the Eiffel Tower behind the Grand Palais, so I thought it was quite cool. But she said about the presidential suite that this is probably from the time of Pamela Harriman. And I wasn't going down that rabbit hole.
She is not a household name.
Not in my household.
In this household.
Yeah. And I was inspired to research this woman afterwards. I don't know what inspired it, but I went down the rabbit hole. One of the most fascinating women in the history of Paris.
Incredible.
I think I read you a whole thing. But if you never heard about it, I'll link to 2 things below. Just like the plain wiki page and an article I read about it. But if you've never heard of her before, people said she was one of the main or greatest courtesans of the 20th century.
I mean, wow.
It starts like her biography is like when she was 18 years old, she was studying in Munich where she met Adolf Hitler.
Wasn't she Churchill's daughter-in-law? Yeah.
Married to Churchill, got married loads of times, had steamy relationships with anyone very wealthy in Paris at the time.
I mean, she had a type.
Yeah.
You could say.
Definitely.
She had a type.
But then she ended up crowdfunding so much money for the Democrats in the States that she ended up being the ambassador to France from Bill Clinton. So he sent her over. Then she had a cerebral hemorrhage.
And she died at the Ritz.
Well, in the swimming pool of the Ritz. And then when she died, they gave her Jacques Chirac gave her the Legion of Honor.
Yeah.
And Clinton flew her back to the States in Air Force One. And then spoke at her funeral.
Wow!
Like
what a life!
Just what I said, just fascinating. And so
it's like 100 lifetimes.
She was the ambassador there in the 90s.
So why did she bring her up?
Well, I think maybe she was involved in a redesign of the room.
Yeah, she decorated a room.
Perhaps, yeah. By a woman who was already so decorated herself.
Well, that was a sidetrack. This whole Pamela Harriman.
She potentially had 6 different last names. I think Churchill was one of them. So some other cool points.
That's fascinating. Yeah.
Totally. Secret door in the octagonal room. I kept looking for secret doors. Denise probably thought I was crazy, and then suddenly she just went, "Here's one, by the way." And then she just opened it. She says, "The kids love this one." I was like, "Not just the kids."
I love this one.
So
where did it go?
It just led to the outside,
or maybe to that secret church that Bertrand talks about.
No, just outside.
Oh, okay. All right.
So that's a cool thing to look out for. And in anywhere in Paris, you can see secret doors in these old buildings. You look at the National Archives, you can see secret doors.
Really?
Oh yeah, secret is in there probably for the staff, but like they just look like the wall, like in Versailles as well.
Very exciting.
Another cool thing: the spinning book holder from Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, I mean. Sure, I love but also
I have the same reaction.
Why?
I had the exact same reaction, but I didn't really want to say it. But it was cool.
I mean,
it was kind of like a lazy Susan for books.
Yeah.
And what I didn't get, so just to describe it,
just put them on a table.
So it was an invention by Thomas Jefferson to be able to access all your books quickly when you're reading 6 books at once. And it looked like when you like a little book holder.
No, it looked like, when you buy postcards in a shop.
Yeah.
You know that spinning round tall thing, except it wasn't tall.
You're not giving
it. Was kind
you're
of
not
like,
doing it justice.
It was kind of like
there
that.
Were books
I'm
on
sorry,
45
Jefferson.
degree angles.
Oh, okay, we got an angle.
But when I saw it, I kind of wanted to say something like that. But
too much respect.
Too much respect. And it was cool. And it was cool. And that Jefferson,
it is cool.
The Jefferson Library was really cool.
Yes.
But it wasn't like in terms of inventions, it wasn't.
It's not up there, is it?
It's not getting a Nobel Prize, but it was cool. I liked it. If we go downstairs to my favorite room, the Gilded Room downstairs, where you've been there before, right?
Yeah.
They have events.
It was lovely.
Oh, so lovely. And they had a piano in there. And before we pressed record, she was telling me about the people who'd played piano. I don't think it's any secret, but people like Pharrell Williams had been there. So many people, even recently, had been there. And her husband's a jazz pianist as well, so he'd played on the piano too. So I thought that was pretty cool. And Harry, man of mystery, and the new cameraman for the Earful, he was I could see he was really into that piano before we started filming.
Is he playing with the hands behind his back?
No.
He can walk backwards. Maybe he can play backwards too.
No, he asked if he could play it, and you could see he put 7 fingers down at once to do something.
In my head, I was like, no one has 7 fingers. What?
Oh dear. But yeah, and then I noted also. I wrote that I dressed like a 1920s mountaineer.
That old classic.
I don't think you can watch the video to check it. But
see what you think.
Look, it was really nice. They said it really lovely. They shared it on their social media, and they called it her farewell tour because Denise is on the way out. A new ambassador is coming in. Once again, I'm steering clear of the politics. I was there for the building.
Yep.
And also Denise has been really lovely. Hosting lots of nice events, and it was nice to have a chat and hear about how things went. So that's a video to check, and that ends part 1 of this podcast episode. I'll add, if you live in Paris, or even if you're visiting at the right time, see who you know if you can get on a list for one of the events, because they had 10,000 people go through last year. I think every year 10,000 people go.
Wow.
So, that means there's a chance.
That's sort of a bucket list kind of thing.
Yeah, you don't have to be American. If we've got in there,
we managed.
Yeah, you can get in there too. But don't ask me for help because I can't. I can't pull any strings.
That's it.
You got to get in there somehow. Part 2 of this is your column.
Ooh,
I want to talk about this because.
Right.
Hang on, what even inspired you to be writing this?
I felt like I had so much to say.
Yeah. So for the full scoop, it's been called the Scoop du Jour.
Yeah, and that's sort of like I'm very pleased with this name, by the way. Very pleased.
Should be.
Yes, it's like a spin on Soup du Jour, but it's a scoop, so...
Yeah, you're giving the scoop on the places that you visit.
Exactly. And also a scoop, like a scoop of... It's so many...
Scoop of
it's
ice cream?
Leveled.
Yeah,
it's got layers.
And so the idea is you go to places... Should I read what you've written at the end of one of them? But first...
Okay, well, the idea... I was just thinking, because, I like to go to new places, exhibitions, new cafes, maybe shops... check out new fun areas that I hadn't really had in mind, and I usually do this anyway. So I figured, why not share this with the members of the Earful Tower?
You said here, I'm later. I'm here to influence or sometimes de-influence you towards or away from things I keep hearing about in Paris. Could be a coffee shop, a boutique, or perhaps a show. I'll test things so you can visit with confidence. Have a suggestion? Let me know.
It's pretty catchy, huh?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I like it. And you said, as you said, it's for members. And I think one of the reasons that you're doing that is that you can be private.
I know. I can be scathing if I want to.
I want to talk about your second column here.
Yes.
Because the first one was
twice published. Oh my goodness.
The first column, and the members are getting into it too, because the first one you picked a very popular cafe in the Marais.
Yeah.
And you
To
said...
visit for the first time. I'd never been there. I just kept seeing it. It popped up on all sort of social media.
We won't name it right now, but it has 25,000 followers on Instagram, and a lot of people seem to be talking about it, and it's quite new.
Yes, and I keep seeing beautiful photos and videos, and people are like all vibey in there, and I'm like...
Lena's review was don't go.
Well, read it and,
Then the second place, I don't know what we can say about it if you want to keep... I've highlighted a quote if you want to read it.
Okay. Should I read it? Yeah. No, you read it. I get nervous.
I have to be honest. My first impression of the food on display made me question my own faith. Crusty little croissants that only the baker's mother could love. Pain au chocolats that looked more BC than AD, if you know what I mean. Should we...
Well, it's a religious theme. If that can, that might give you a little clue on what it could be.
Yeah, I don't want to review where it is either, because obviously I want people to sign up as members so that you can afford crusty croissants.
No, okay, I have to say this. Sometimes it's tongue in cheek. It really is. I don't want to be mean.
Someone said it seems like the pungence of Cistercian incense has got Lena firing again. This place sounds fascinating. I'm adding it to my 2025 bucket list.
Amazing.
However, someone...
Yes, Sarah. I see you.
Michelle says, very helpful. I'll go for the visual, but I'll stick to the water. Smart.
Wise.
And there's a bunch of other comments as well. But the idea here is it's another place that people are talking about and having these beautiful little cafe.
Yeah.
But
I just want to, all these, I feel like it's so treacherous. That's a big word. But, like you see all these beautiful imagery on especially social media, and it makes you think that everything is so fantastic and dreamy and like a must-see. And often when you actually go there and it's like, okay, maybe it wasn't exactly what I had planned. Or what if you only have like a day in Paris or a couple of days and you put these things on your list and it's like you leave a little bit disappointed. So I just want to kind of clarify what some things are.
I think it's great. I think you should go and do Folderol, the ice cream place where I've never been.
It's on my list.
Especially because you're called Scoop. Right? Scoop of ice cream.
Of course.
But also, another comment from Don. He says, thanks, Lena. It seems everyone, mostly tourists, give everything 4 or 5 stars just because they're in Paris where everything is supposed to be perfect.
Good point.
That's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for that. 2 were published, and the third one is scheduled to be published soon. To read them, you've got to be a Patreon member or a Substack subscriber. And thanks and hello to all the people who signed up in the past week or two.
It's a bunch, huh?
Yeah, because I've been pushing all the new extra stuff, including the 2025 PDF guide to Paris.
Very exciting.
Now, on another note, something else we did, the third section, third and final section of this podcast before we get into Bertrand, is, and I must say I've missed doing episodes like this. This is kind of a for the fans episode.
Like a chatty one.
Yeah, if you're new to the podcast, you might be a bit confused that we're hopping all over the place. Usually I just do a long interview, but it's
welcome.
It's nice to be able to catch up on all these things that we've got going. And in the third section, I think we should talk about how our wonderful anniversary dinner tied in with you kind of knocking something off your bucket list. Yeah. In inverted commas, because I'm not sure.
Well, that just kind of happened, but I'll take it.
We went to, long-time listeners will know that Lena and I love Le Meurice Hotel, and we went there for a drink on our, I think, second date ever.
I think so. Out of mistake.
Yeah, and we were so broke, and it was dreadful and wonderful at the same time. And we figured now we've been in Paris for 10 years that we'd go back there and have dinner.
Yeah, it seemed only fitting.
And I wrote about it in the newsletter how wonderful it is. It's just every time it's pure excellence. Love that place. We ate at Le Dali, named after Salvador Dali. I also said if you ever really want to splash out, you eat at Restaurant Le Meurice next door. But I didn't even dare look at it.
No, it's the kind of place that don't have prices on display.
They don't have prices. But you were thrilled to get butter. You don't even like butter.
I know. This is funny. It's like, So we were served butter and bread, as you so often are. But I found out that it's this special Baudier butter, which I happen to have on my bucket list for this year. And you may ask yourself, why do you have butter on your bucket list? It's because, once again, I keep seeing it everywhere. Everyone talks about this special butter that you can only buy in France. People vacuum pack it, bring it back to America or wherever. And I was like, I need to try this butter. And there it was.
You know what? I just remembered. We regular listeners might remember Romu, the chef who cooked for the celebrities, who was on this show recently. He cooked for me. I caught up with him recently, and I told him about. No, he follows our stuff. So he said, I saw Lena wanted to have Baudier butter.
Yeah.
And he goes, why don't you just make it?
Oh my God. Only a chef.
Roma, we can't just make butter. He goes, yeah, it'd be really easy to make that butter. There's nothing that special about it. I was like, what?
We should invite him over and have a little butter bake-off.
I was like, let's make some butter. Then you show me how to make butter. He goes, that will be really fun. Let's do it. So if you guys want, what?
Maybe that could be a video. That could be cool.
Here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
If you want to see us making butter with Romo, I'm going to put up some kind of Instagram and Facebook post.
I can't believe how much we're talking about butter these days. It's so weird.
Lena actually doesn't like butter.
I don't like it, but I even bought a butter knife. It was expensive too.
For one-time use.
I know.
What
crazy.
should they put as the emojis in their comments if they want to see more butter?
Probably butter.
Is there a butter emoji?
I mean,
something that looks
that would
buttery.
make sense.
Yeah, something that you'd find
Something yellow.
in the dairy section of the supermarket.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. How about it? I was gonna say chicken, but it's not from eggs. Oh my God! Put a cow.
Sure, cow works. So put that in when you see a post. The other funny thing is when I did a video for social media about Le Meurice dining experience, Instagram was bugging on that day. And only the first 20 seconds of the video was published. For the first day, I didn't even notice. And it made me wonder, it's so funny, because the 20-second version of our dinner,
Yeah, the culmination of it.
it was like, we walk in, we're really excited, we have some champagne, and then you're just pointing to the butter, getting all excited.
And then it turns to black.
No, then I had put a spoon in French onion soup. And it looked like that's all you get when you go for dinner. Champagne, butter, and French onion soup.
And we were both like super.
Yeah, and there's these comments, people sending me, why are you guys so excited about the butter? And I was like, hang on, what? That's how I noticed that the butter wasn't the star of the video. It was meant to be 1 second.
God,
but if it's a 20-second video,
butter.
yeah.
Amazing, so funny.
So if you've got a special occasion, you want to go out for dinner in Paris, I personally recommend Le Meurice very highly.
Yeah, you can't get better butter.
You can't get better butter. And I think it could be fun one day to do a sort of ranking. We've been to some cool restaurants now, some fancy places, and say what this would be good for. You know, I said the Shangri-La was good for discreet elegance.
Discreet elegance.
Yeah. Which, so if you're going for a 50th birthday party with your mates, I don't think you'd want to go there, for example. We'll do that one day too. Now, I think that's kind of it before we jump into Bertrand's bit.
You feel satisfied?
Oh, very, very, yeah.
Okay, good.
All that's missing is a look into a fantastic church. See if you can guess what it is before he says it. Here comes Bertrand Dalmont from My Private Paris, talking to you about one of the most wonderful churches in Paris. And Bertrand from My Private Paris, how you doing?
Good, very well. How are you?
I'm always well, you know.
It's true. You always tell me that.
There's some... To paraphrase yourself, the lines at Sainte-Chapelle are too big because everyone's going there from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
When Notre Dame reopens, the queues will be huge. I want to see a church, a good one. Where do I go? Don't want to line up.
Saint-Séverin Church.
Usually when we do these sections, we've chatted before, and this one I said I didn't want to hear to see if you surprise me. I can't picture that church. I don't know where it is.
It's as far as the Sainte-Chapelle from Notre Dame.
Okay.
It's really there in the 5th district.
Yep.
Next to very close to Saint-Michel on the Rue Saint-Jacques.
Okay.
So there's a spot where you can see both Notre Dame and Saint-Séverin's church.
Okay.
So they belong to the same era. I picked this one because Sainte-Chapelle, Notre Dame, they're both Gothic churches, so from the 1200s, heart of the Middle Ages, and so is Saint-Séverin, so you can get the same ambience and style, architectural style. But Saint-Séverin is an actual church where people go to mass every day,
Right.
or to prayers, etc.
I still can't picture where it is. Is it at the bottom of Rue Saint-Jacques?
Yeah,
Down near the river?
yeah, almost by the river.
Okay.
It's a beautiful. You have all the tidbits of the Gothic architecture, rose windows, pointy arcs, etc. You also have very modern stained glasses in it, which are very beautiful to look at, and you have this great feeling that you just walk in. I always try to bring a guest in it through a back door, so they don't realize they're getting into a church.
Yeah.
I'm just pushing a small door. I say, oh, by the way, because it's never included in the top list of things to do and see, but I usually go there anyway.
Yeah.
And so we just walk in. And I love this feeling where you're in the street, you have the buses, people are trying to sell you crepes and donuts, etc. And then you walk in and whoo.
If you give the organ player like 20 euros, he might even start playing when you walk in. Imagine that.
Or just press it on my phone.
Yeah. Okay. And when you go in, you said it's an active church, but is it like there are people in there praying when you go in, or is it
Usually,
quite quiet?
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, usually.
Okay.
But it's okay. Churches were never designed to be a place where it's all forbidden to speak, to go, etc. On the contrary, all these medieval churches, they have what is called an ambulatory, which is an area designed for visitors to go when people are listening to mass or praying.
So essentially the round circle of it.
Yes.
It's like when you go to Sacré-Cœur, it's almost like a racetrack of people just going around. Well,
Exactly.
Okay. Wow, Saint-Séverin.
I'll take you there.
I'd love to go
I
there.
can't believe you've never been there.
You'd be surprised how many places I've never been. But also with the churches, I sometimes sometimes I walk past a church, I don't know what the name of it is, and I pop in. This has happened at least 10 times. Recently with Saint-Eustache in the second arrondissement.
Yes.
And I just walk, I used to live.
That's a big one.
I know. I think it was under reconstruction for a while or something when I lived there.
The facade
maybe.
has been cleaned up now.
Okay. So, and I walked in and I just thought, I can't believe, if this was in any other small town or city in the world,
It would have been on your first day.
it'd be number one thing that you go and see.
Yeah.
It's the Notre Dame of other places. And so Paris has...
You couldn't be more right.
Yeah.
It was built by the desire of a king.
What,
to have
Eustache?
Yeah, the Saint-Eustache Church.
Yeah.
To have a church that will be a rival as Notre Dame. Notre Dame is the church of the bishop.
Oh.
Saint-Eustache is the royal church close to the Louvre.
I was
Mozart,
exactly right.
Mozart, you know Mozart.
Yeah, of course.
His mother is buried there.
Do you think I didn't know Mozart?
Oh, I never know with you.
Do you know Mozart went to the Hôtel de Beauvais?
Oui, bien sûr.
Have you been in there?
Yeah.
I saw the sign in there. Okay, you know.
But his mom died in Paris and she's buried in Saint-Eustache.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Kings have been Christianized, baptized
Christian, yeah, baptized, yeah.
in Saint-Eustache. It's a massive church. It's nearly as big as Notre Dame.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, in Paris, there's so many great churches, and I'm glad to add one to my list. Can you tell us where the secret back door is, or do you have to book a tour to go and find that to Saint-Séverin?
Oh, no, easy. It's on the back of the church.
Easy. All right. I think that makes for some good social media content. We'll go and visit that next time we're down there together. And if you want to see churches or indeed anything in the city of Paris or beyond, My Private Paris are the ones to take you there. Go and check them out. There's a link in the show description. And the man sitting across from me is Bertrand Dalmau. Mm-hmm. That's Dalmau. When you got a D apostrophe, doesn't that mean you're like some kind of saint or something?
Saint?
Or you've got land somewhere, or is it just it's just a name?
Yes, it used to. And before the French Revolution, yeah.
Oh, so now it's just you just got an apostrophe.
It's a name with good story.
Well, I'm very happy to hear your church tips, Bertrand. Thank you for sharing with me.
Merci.